Here's why the reasons that your ex gave when they broke up with you didn't make any sense. Hey, I'm Coach Benny, and I help people get their exes back. And I have a lot of people that come to me and say, hey, when my ex broke up with me, they said this and this, and it doesn't really make sense because they're not really deal breakers. So I don't really feel like I have answers. And the real answer behind why they're breaking up with you is something you wouldn't just be able to just perceive. Okay, it's what's going on is a little bit more complicated than what you can just figure out on the fly. So your ex was emotionally neglected in childhood, and what's happened is that they don't have the skills to come to you and communicate and tell you every single time something bothers them, right? They're keeping it to themselves, they're sweeping it under the rug, and they're letting it build up to the point where they want to break up with you. And it's past the point where you could actually start to kind of say your mind and, have some control about the narrative and kind of change their mind. So they mentally check out ahead of time. And once they, break the news to you, it's at the absolute last minute because they're avoiding conflict. So when you ask them for, clarity and you ask them for closure and stuff, and you're trying to figure out why is this happening, the answers that they're going to give you are not that well thought out because, again, they're not sitting in introspection, thinking about what could be done because they're not really, aware of the communication and cooperation skills that are necessary in relationships because they didn't get it in childhood. So for them, they're thinking more along the lines of, well, we're just incompatible because, if conflict isn't necessary and we just keep our shit to ourselves, everything should just work out instead of us working together. Because again, they're not aware of that working together option because they didn't have that with their parents. So they start thinking along the lines of you being incompatible. So, you don't like hiking and I do and blah, 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 blah. Right? And these are things that they knew ever since the beginning. But because problems have built up now and they don't know how to, address it, now all of a sudden, these little things become deal breakers. So yeah, it's not going to make any sense to you. You might even sense some sadness in their eyes or in their tone of voice when they're breaking up with you. They almost feel like they have to do it. But what's happening is stress is building up from these, accumulated problems that they haven't resolved. And they feel like it's the only course of action, even though they still love you. So yeah, this can be really confusing, but if you want help reattracting this person into your life, you want to learn how to, get them back in, how to solve the problem for good and have a happy relationship, click into my profile, click this link right here and set up a call with me. And I want to hear your story and I'll give you a step-by-step plan to get your ex back.